Hello everyone, welcome to another video. So today we're going to do a simple and compound interest. Okay, so let's go for the question. We have a 12,000 going to 3 banks. All of them pay the same percentage per year, and then find the total amount if the 3 different banks. So bank A is simple interest. So simple interest simply means simple. That means every year you get 1.25% of your money. And then if you put it for 5 years, you just simply times 5. So what you're going to see here is I have the original amount, and actually I want the total amount. So that means it includes the 12,000. Okay, so I'm taking the 12,000, the starting, and over here I'm taking 1.25% of this 12,000 and times 5 years, and then of course I add it up and that's the answer. So simple interest is very simple. Okay, next, this is compound interest and it's accumulated yearly. So when it's yearly, you can see that the interest rate is also per year. Per annum means per year. So I'm using this number 1.25. Okay, so the formula will be this. It is given in the formula list. So this is the starting, and then I got 1 plus, this is the interest, which is 1.25 over 100, then this is the number of years. So I simply put all this in the formula and I calculate. And in this case, I'm putting it as 2 decimal place because money should always be 2 decimal place. So now let's look at C. C is the slightly more interesting one because it's exactly the same phrase, however it is accumulated monthly. So the interest is given every month. But now if you use common sense, you would think that okay, this is 1.25 per year. I cannot be giving 1.25 every month, right? That's a lot. So what we do is we ratio it down. So 1.25 per year. So each month, because I want monthly, right? So each month the interest will be 1.25 divided by 12 because 1 year got 12 months. And if you calculate this in the calculator, you give as a fraction. So this is the interest rate you use. Next thing, this formula here indicates the number of years. However, if I'm doing monthly, so this number has to change. So I need to count, okay, 5 years is 5 years, but how many months are there in 5 years? So it's 5 times 12, 60. So this is the two numbers I'm going to use instead. So you can see that the formula is here. The interest rate changes, the number of years also so-called change. It's not the years anymore, it's number of months. So I key this in the calculator. Same thing, I do a 2 decimal place. Okay, so let's look at another question. Okay, so this will be slightly more complicated question because it's mixed with hire purchase. So again, I got a car, 170,000, must be Singapore cars, very expensive. Then I pay 10% down payment, so I pay 10% first, and then the rest I'm taking a 5-year loan. So first question is calculate how much he needs to borrow. So this is pretty common sense. I pay 10%, I need to borrow the remaining 90%. So it's 0.9 times the 170,000. So no issues there. So the next question is the bank charges simple interest of 3% per year. So I need to borrow this much. So the 3% is going to apply to this number. Okay, so for 5 years. And I must calculate the hire purchase price. Hire purchase price means the total amount of money he paid, including this 10%. So I'm doing it in a more not very efficient way, but I think it's clearer. So this is the 10%, because 10% of this is just 1 less 0. So 10% down payment, and the remaining of this amount, of course I need to pay back this. And I'm taking this amount, 3% times 5 years, simple interest. So if I add it all together, it's 1925950. So that's the amount he needs to pay in total for the hire purchase. Okay. Next, if you say then I must calculate monthly installment. So monthly installment, you got to be quite careful because monthly installment, you don't pay installment for this 17,000. You pay for this. This is the interest, right? This is the leftover and plus interest. So I'm taking this number divided by 60 because this is 5 years and times 12 months. So this is the monthly installment. Next, then there's some finance company charging compound interest 2.8 per annum. So ask you whether it's a better deal. So simply put, which one is cheaper? So what I do is, I take the loan amount because you already paid 10%. I take this 90%. I apply the compound interest. You can see that it doesn't say it compounds how often. So the default will be to compound every year. So year is 5, interest rate is 2.8, and then I calculate. So it's between this number and this number. So this is the simple interest version. This is the compound interest version. You can see that clearly this number is lower. So we should take with the finance company because this number is a lower number. So hope you learned something new. Thank you and bye-bye.